morning, and welcome to this week's edition of Marquette in Motion. We're your hosts, Hallie Kilberg
and Miranda Peters. Happy first day of fall, everyone.
We here on the show cannot wait for the smell of warm apple pie, the toss of the football, and the jumps into crunchy leaf piles.
Okay, Hallie, but we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. Fall doesn't officially start until 8:54 p.m., so rather than jumping into those leaf piles, let's jump into today's show.
Sounds good, Miranda. Let's do it. We have another great show for you today. Miranda and I will be here in segment 1 discussing something new at Marquette this year, something that will be inaugurated on Wednesday.
Then Justina will be here informing you on Marquette's current food drive in response to Hunger Action Month.
The boys will be here with all of the latest action from the course and the court, and Miranda and I will be sharing Tori Mickle's most recent swim results.
In segment 3, Luke will be here interviewing kindergarten teacher and co-curriculum director, Mrs. Tricia Kilberg.
And to round out the show, Amy and Macy will be here looking ahead, as they'll be kicking off the new week by sharing all of Marquette's upcoming activities.
Now, kickball happens to be one of those activities. No, the Iowa High School Athletic Association has not sanctioned kickball as a school sport. However, Mr. Kaiser, our principal, has.
On Wednesday, all Marquette students will don their Marquette shirts, or if they don't have Marquette shirts, red shirts or white shirts will work too. And that afternoon, for a full class period, Marquette faculty and the student body will be taking part in a kickball game.
This Marquette Family Fun Day is a result of a new initiative taking place every month here at Marquette.
Each month, students will have an out-of-dress code day and a different game will be featured, all creating some friendly competition between the faculty, staff, and the students at the school.
Throughout the course of the year, these games will include kickball, volleyball, basketball, dodgeball, slow pitch softball, and quiz bowl.
The Marquette Family Fun Days align well with Marquette's focus of teaching and living with passion and purpose, while Mr. Kaiser's hope in these community building days is to bring members of the Marquette family even closer.
And this past week, Marquette's family gained another member.
We are very happy to announce that Mr. and Mrs. Kaiser have welcomed their new baby boy, Beckett Bernard Kaiser, who was born on Wednesday night at 9:51.
He weighed 7 pounds, 3 ounces, and measured 21 inches long.
Beckett, although you were a bit late, we couldn't be happier about your arrival into the world.
Now don't you be late for segment 2. Don't go away. We'll be back with more Marquette in Motion after the break. Welcome back to Marquette in Motion. Here now is Justina Denlinger informing you on the food drive for Hunger Action Month.
From September 17th to September 28th, Marquette is hosting a food drive for Hunger Action Month. During this time, Marquette will be gathering non-perishable items to donate to local food banks. As a little challenge for elementary, middle school, and high school, whichever class from their respective groups donates the most items will get treats supplied by the Student Council. The month of September is known as Hunger Action Month, where people all over America work together with local and nationwide food banks to fight hunger. In Iowa alone, 1 in 5 children does not have enough to eat, but with your help, we can change that statistic. If you would like to contribute to this food drive, please contact Marquette Catholic at 872-3356 for how you can help. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Justina Denlinger.
Thanks, Justina. Up next are the guys with the sports report.
Thanks, girls. Monday, September 17th marked the date of the Bellevue Invitational Cross Country Meet at the Bellevue Golf Course.
On the guys' front, Jeb Schwager led the team, finishing 17th with a time of 18:38. The guys brought home a 7th as a team.
Also at this meet, Hallie Kilberg once again finished first with a fantastic time of 20:36 and led the Marquette girls to a first-place finish as a team as well.
In volleyball news, the girls traveled to take on the Cedar Valley Christian Huskies Tuesday evening, September 18th. Here the girls came out with 3 wins from all 3 matches.
Thursday, September 20th, Marquette Volleyball took on Prince of Peace at home. This was also Parents' Night for volleyball as well as cross-country athletes.
The night started with impressive wins from the fresh, soft, and JV teams. And things got really interesting during the varsity game. Marquette and the Fighting Irish fought to a total of 5 close matches.
However, in the end, Prince of Peace edged out the Marquette girls in the final deciding set by a score of 15-12. Still, the Mohawks put up an outstanding fight. For Marquette in Motion, this has been Jeb Schwager
and Garrett Krieg
with your Marquette Sports Report.
Thanks, guys. And also a big shout out to junior Tori Mickle for helping Wahlert win the dual swim meet against senior this past Monday.
And you'll be a winner if you join us for segment 3. Don't go away, we'll be back right after the break.
Okay, keep going. I have 2 minutes. All right.
Welcome back to Marquette in Motion. Here now is Luke Keys interviewing my mom, Mrs. Tricia Kilberg.
Hello, listeners. Thanks once again for joining me for the portion of our show called Meet Marquette. Once again, I'll be interviewing one of our Marquette family members. This week, I'm going to be interviewing our kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Kilberg. Hi, Mrs. Kilberg. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Luke. Thanks for having me.
Now, Mrs. Kilberg, can you tell us a little bit about your roles here at Marquette?
Absolutely. So I have been the kindergarten teacher here for many, many years. In fact, I remember teaching you, Luke.
Yes, I do. I remember being a bit of a troublemaker.
No, not at all. Very enjoyable you were. And then I also am curriculum co-director. Mr. Kaiser and I lead that. Mm-hmm. And then I also oversee this radio program, the Marquette in Motion show.
Now, which one of your roles would you say is your favorite?
That's really hard to say. It's kind of like your children where each has its own beautiful, piece or aspect. I absolutely love teaching kindergarten. I love seeing them learn how to read. I'm lucky enough to teach my youngest son. I have him in kindergarten this year, and I was able to teach all of my children then, so all 5 I've been able to teach, and I absolutely love seeing them learn to read, and there's such growth, and I really have this passion for literacy and ensuring that young children read and read well. So I stress a lot of phonemic awareness, a lot of phonics. We do a lot with phrasing, and so at the end of the year they're really awesome readers, and that is a wonderful thing to see. With the curriculum co-director piece, I love that as well, because essentially you're just a teacher of teachers, and so I love sharing instructional strategies, and I love, it's really just like being a cheerleader. It's like reviewing materials, finding the best, it's researching, so all of those pieces I really love too. So I enjoy that role. And then Marquette in Motion, who can't love that, right? My children have been able to be involved in that also, and there's an added dimension of fun when that's the case. But I really love producing a show that the public can listen to stay informed about our great school.
Now, speaking of this radio program, how did it start? What prompted the production and the starting of Marquette in Motion?
Yeah, so I believe it was back in maybe 2014. Teachers had gotten together, and we really thought about, what are ways that we can really showcase the great things that we're doing. We have a piece in the paper, and that was wonderful. But we wanted to make sure that we were able to have grandparents or aunts or uncles really stay connected with Marquette. And so I kind of just threw out there that when I was in high school, we had a program called Andrew Comment. I went to Andrew High School, and our English teacher, Mr. John Burrow, who shout out to him, he was amazing. He, kind of directed that program, and I thought, we can bring that to Marquette. And so we started it up, and later we found out that there was a show years and years and years, maybe 20 years ago. There also was a Marquette in Motion radio program. So they had a class, and they produced a show also called Marquette in Motion, crazily enough. But anyway, we resurrected it without knowing we resurrected it, and it's really been a wonderful thing, and I think a boon to the community.
So what does your role as a curriculum co-director entail? You said you worked with Mr. Kaiser on that?
Yes, the two of us sit down and we really talk about the curriculum as far as the programming and what we want to do, not only with the textbooks and the enacted curriculum, but also with teacher instruction and professional development. So each year we have a different focus. There were years that we had teaching with creativity and engagement, teaching with intention. This year our focus is teaching and living with passion and purpose. So loving what you do, but also understanding that there's a purpose in what you do, not only in the classroom, but in life. And of course, that purpose is to really ensure that all of us can be as close to Christ as we can be, and try to help each other attain heaven.
Now, Ms. Kilberg, to wrap up this session, is there anything passionate you're about in either your personal life or in your teaching profession that you believe helps you become a better teacher?
That's a great question. I absolutely love teaching children. I love the instruction. I love high quality means to share content. I feel like you can take any concept and you can simplify it, and even kindergartners can really understand concepts that are much more complex. I also love using mnemonic devices to teach kids. I mean, I think you can learn anything if you have the brain be able to connect it to something else. So I have this passion for learning, for the brain, for understanding children, and for understanding that they're God's creation and they are entrusted to us as teachers, and not only to teach them, but to teach them in the way of God, and to keep them safe, and to let them know how much they're loved. And so that's what we try to do here at Marquette.
All right. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for being with us here today, Mrs. Kilberg.
You're welcome.
And thank you, listeners, for joining us on this week's Meet Marquette segment. Until next time, from Marquette Emotion, this has been Luke Keys signing off.
Thanks, Luke. And now, to round out the show, Macy and Amy will be looking ahead.
On Monday, September 24th, there is no school because of professional development. On Monday, there is also a cross-country meet at North Cedar starting at 4:15 p.m.
Tuesday, September 25th, there is a junior high volleyball game at home starting at 4. There will also be a freshman JV varsity volleyball game at Lisbon starting at 5:15.
Thursday is a busy day with junior high volleyball at Midland at 4, a freshman JV and varsity volleyball game at home starting at 5:15, and a cross-country meet at West Dubuque at 4:15.
Lastly, there is a junior high volleyball game at Ackwin starting at 4.
With your Looking Ahead segment, this has been Macy Kramer
And Amy Sieverding
For Marquette in Motion.
Thanks, girls. And now you can start your fall festivities. Thanks for joining us today.
For Marquette in Motion, this has been Miranda Peters.
And Hallie Kilberg.
And remember, stay informed, stay involved, stay
In motion.